Good evening, you're watching Estuary News. Coming up tonight, we go to Brigg, which now has a tree of light, and we visit the Grimsby Rucksack Depot, which helps those sleeping on the streets. And tonight's guest is Anne Winslow, here to give us some tips and advice as to how to cope with stressful situations, especially around Christmas. Welcome to Estuary News, I'm Hugh Richards. Time now for the news headlines.
128 people were arrested for burglary or related offences across our region in November. 67 of those arrests were made in Hull and 34 in North East Lincolnshire. It was part of Humberside Police's month-long focus on burglary, and that was part of Operation Impact, aiming on bringing criminals to justice, deterring offenders and supporting the community in preventing burglaries. Elsewhere, 4 people with a deadly form of tuberculosis have been treated in East Yorkshire. The highly contagious disease is being contained within Castle Hill Hospital. People with aspirations to work in the renewable energy sector will have the opportunity to gain skills at Hull's Central Library. They are offering a number of workshops with experts on hand to offer information and advice. It's hoped to give job seekers pause for thought when considering a new career.
I think it's going to get far busier with more employers involved, and I just think that it's a nicer atmosphere as well around here, as it would say down your local job centre. So, you know, there's people here that can inspire them and show that they are good enough for employment in the wind energy sector, and I'm sure many of them will come in here over the future months. I'll end up being employed by Siemens.
And a new drama documentary tells the story of an extraordinary Lincolnshire soldier. The film, called William's Story, follows the life of William Crowder, who survived the Battle of Passchendaele and was taken as a prisoner of war in the spring of 1918 before making it back to Lincolnshire for Christmas. The film's director says it's important to preserve stories like William's for future generations.
So I think particularly now when we are losing so much of the living memory of the time. There's soon will come a time when even World War II, there's nobody alive who remembers it, and so it's important to try and capture these memories and keep them alive.
And you'll be able to see William's Story on Christmas Day on Estuary TV. And that's all from the news.
It's the most wonderful time of the year for most of us, I hope, but it can be a very sad time for those who've lost loved ones around Christmas. The North Lincolnshire town of Brigg now has a tree of light to give people a new way of remembering their departed loved ones, and it's all for a good cause, as Dan Kemp found out.
It's the brainchild of the Brigg Town Business Partnership and is in situ in Chapel Court in the town until 12th night. That's Wednesday, the 6th of January 2016.
The Tree of Light is to remember our loved ones that have died in the past umpteen years. All proceeds are going to Carers Support Centre, which is a charity based in North Lincolnshire, also North East Lincolnshire. We've been for the last 25 years in North Lincolnshire, supporting carers, people that are unpaid and looking after loved ones, hoping to get to carers before they reach crisis point.
Owen Mitchell is a local vicar and spoke to the congregation at the launch of Brigg's first Remembrance Tree.
Well, we're hoping to help people remember their loved ones at this time, which is a joyful and peaceful time, but can also be a time of suffering and pain for people, remembering those who they've lost, or fears about jobs in the future and things. So it's just a focus point for that kind of thing. And the lights remind us that there is hope of a better life.
It's been very, very, very well received. At Design Orchard, people were queuing up on Thursday morning to buy the cards. Rosa obviously are selling the cards, tourist information, carer support, and then St John's Church and Brigg Methodist Church are always selling memory cards.
It's a privilege and a joy. It's a great community, Brigg, and there's lots going on, and it's great that they want the church involved.
And if you have a story you'd like us to look into, then you can contact the news team either through our social media pages or email news@estuary.tv, call 01472 31 553. Let us know what's happening. Still to come tonight, we have the roundup of the region's business news, another dog searches for its permanent home in Dog of the Week, and we head to the Grimsby Rucksack Depot, returning to that story. And of course, we'll have all the latest in the local sports news. Last week, David McCormack was in the studio to tell us how to survive Christmas by understanding the needs of your personality type and of the personalities around you. Today, Anne Winslow from Quest Therapies is here to give us some coping strategies for surviving Christmas. Anne, thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you very much. It's great to be here.
Christmas can be appallingly stressful, largely because we can choose our friends, but we can't choose our families.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's so about looking at Christmas and trying to make it nice for you, what works for you. So if like you get stressed with all the shopping and things, you know, perhaps thinking it's too late this year to change things, but perhaps thinking next year we'll discuss it with everybody and perhaps think we won't buy for the adults, or we'll set a financial limit, or might even do like a secret Santa, so you just buy one present for the members of the family. And if this year you think, do you know what, I'd love to just go away and escape from it all, then sort of think, well, perhaps next year you could do.
Well, going to that matter of presents for a start, which is always a conundrum. What do you get? Especially if you are young, and if you've been, you know, I don't know, married for a year, or if you have young children, presents are easy. If you've been married for 20 years, and this is the 21st Christmas present you have to get your husband or wife, it's absolutely impossible, isn't it?
Well, we made the decision last year to do like £20 to £30 on each other. We've done all.
That's generous.
We've done all the. You know, we've been together coming up 16 years now, so we've done all that exciting when you're new together and jewellery and things. And I've just not bothered about those things anymore now. So to me, it's just it's celebrating. I'm just feeling the positive energy around.
We had one Christmas and years ago, quite a long time, and we it was funny, but it was not intentionally funny when we both gave each other a pair of Wellington boots. It's not imaginative, is it? And it certainly didn't cost 30 quid. There is a financial element, of course, as well, because we feel obliged to spend money at Christmas, and we're still in a very tight belt situation, a lot of us in this region of the country. How do we make Christmas a little bit less stressful on the bank account? Well,
I find it strange that we're brought up to think that at Christmas we should buy every person that we know a present. It is like a strange thing that we sort of are trained into. So I think it's about stepping out of it. Over the last few years, with new friends that have come into my life, I've sort of said, let's not go down that path. So we haven't started it up. So, you know, you can sort of gradually start and thin out who you buy presents for. I have two lovely friends that I meet up once a year with. I met them both when I was 17. And we used to buy presents. And a couple of years ago, I said, shall we stop doing that and just meet up? Because I'd got to the fact I didn't know them. I wanted to buy them something lovely, but I didn't know what to get them. And it just seemed, it was stressful thinking, what can I get them that's lovely? So last year was the first year we didn't do it. And it made no difference. It was lovely. We meet up, have the afternoon at my house, have a lovely catch up. So that's just taken that sort of issue out of the way. So it's looking at ways of, you know, making it easy so that everybody can enjoy it. And I think if one person suggests it, the other people are probably thinking, oh yeah, good idea.
Well, you really need to get presents for the people who you're going to be with on the day, aren't you? Just so that you can be with them when they
unwrap them under the tree. Yeah, that's really nice. Yeah, it is lovely to be with people when they open them, isn't it?
What about the day itself? Because there is that's the day when the family comes together.
Yeah.
Probably people, you know, if there are brothers-in-law, sisters and sisters-in-law, other people's children, somebody's going to misbehave almost inevitably.
Yeah. I think it's like you've just got to accept that and making the decision that do you want to do something different, because just because you've done it for year after year doesn't mean you have to continue doing it. And it's like perhaps as you get your own family, you do want to be at home with your own. I think it is about discussing it amongst you all and sort of thinking, you know, are we all happy with this, or do we want to change it? Just because you've done it every year doesn't mean you have to do it forevermore. But if you absolutely love it, then that's brilliant, because there's so many lovely family groups that get together, and it is quite beautiful, and just be chilled about it really. But there are coping sort of strategies that you can use, so that if you start to implement them daily, things don't stress you as much the same anyway.
And should we feel obliged to spend Christmas with our families? I mean, I'm lucky with I'm rather fond of my family, but on the other hand, I wouldn't want to spend all my time with them. Should we feel obliged to spend Christmas?
No, I don't think so. I think it's like just being with the people that you enjoy the company, you know, sending your sort of best wishes, your love to them, perhaps having a phone call. But I don't think there's an obligation to spend your whole day with your family.
Now, there are certain techniques that one can employ. Here's talk of mindfulness.
Yeah, mindfulness is brilliant. There's lots of different techniques, like using your breath, mindfulness, meditation. The likes of Richard Branson are using it and encouraging his staff to use it. So, you know, it's not only for stress relief, but if you use it on a regular basis, it can be used for self-development, which is really, really good. But things like your breath, just taking a long, slow, deep breath in and letting it go. And a way of making that more powerful is to count 1 to 10. Because I remember years ago, we were told, you know, count to 10 if you're stressed. But actually, if you take a long, deep breath in and go 1 in, 2 out,
right, okay,
3,
got
and like
it.
that for
Yep.
10, that is absolutely a brilliant way of relaxing you.
And thank you very much. I think those are some extremely valuable tips. Possibility there of maybe even some comfort and joy.
Yes, lovely.
Thank you very much, Anne. Stay with us, as coming up after the break, we see how rucksacks are helping the homeless, and another dog needs a new home in our Dog of the Week feature. Welcome back, you're watching Estuary News. Still to come, can you give this dog a home? And we revisit the rucksack project in North East Lincolnshire. Christmas, as you may have noticed, is fast approaching in its usual way and its usual time of year. It's the busiest time of year for many kennels. Hopefully someone can give this dog a permanent home.
Dog 249 is a Rottie. He's called Zeus. His date of birth is 2014. He's just been castrated because he's still got the stitches in. Very friendly, and he does like to play.
Earlier in the week, Mark Elliott and Dave Carlisle were in the studio to tell us about the rucksack project and how it helps the homeless. As part of the project, hundreds of items have been donated, from warm clothing to toiletries, to help those who are sleeping rough. Erica went to the Waltham British Legion, where volunteers were busy getting the rucksacks ready.
It's a grassroots movement that started back in 2009 in Bristol, and it's a project where we're aiming to get rucksacks out to homeless people to help them over the winter. Rucksacks filled with all kinds of practical things like warm scarves, gloves, a sleeping bag, you know, things that are really going to help them: toothpaste, toothbrushes, hygiene items, anything that's going to make life on the streets over the winter a little bit warmer and a little bit safer, a little bit cleaner. We are helping people in Grimsby, Cleethorpes, across Lincolnshire, other areas, and I think people really like the fact that they know stuff that they're donating is going directly to help people in our local area. There's a great need for all the items. It's been distributed through some of the refuges, through the YMCA, the Salvation Army, Harbour Place, through organisations that already work with these people in our area. They know who are the real needy cases, so we can get that stuff directly to the people that need it. The response we've had from the public has been absolutely amazing. So we've got individuals who are coming in all day today and donating goods. We've had church groups, nurseries, other community groups, donations coming in left, right and centre, and we've been really, really pleased and surprised with the response that we've had. And after today, it's a project that we're hoping to carry on all year round. So they can have a look at our Facebook page, which is Rucksack Project, Grimsby, Cleethorpes and Lincolnshire. Get on the Facebook page, have a look what we're doing and see how they can get involved through the winter and beyond into next year.
Joining me now to talk us through what's been happening across the region, Erica Barker. Erica, hello.
Hello, you. So let's start off then with long-awaited work to stop nasty smells from Beverley's sewage plant will begin early next year. The first phase is 15.9 million and is expected to be finished in 2017. And this came about when residents, put up a fight with it really. It was quite ongoing and quite a lengthy battle. But work is going to commence, and hopefully that'll rectify the problem.
And so Beverley Sewage Works is a bit whiffy, is it?
Yeah, so the residents say. Yeah, but there's going to be a lot of housing development as well, a lot more new homes built. So this, it's work that needs to be done really.
£15 million. Mm-hmm. Why didn't they just build it right in the first place?
I don't know. I don't know.
I'm sorry, I'm not holding you responsible, Erica, but it seems like the obvious question. A £15 million repair to a sewage works where one of the things you should make sure is going to happen is that the smell's going to be contained.
Well, the second phase for completion is in 2021. And that's to help the site cope with the thousands of extra homes that are planned to be built in the town.
Well, if there's an expansion of demand, then there's going to be an expansion of resources.
But it's good news for Beverley because the Tour de Yorkshire is going to be in Beverley.
I see.
Brilliant news.
The Tour de Yorkshire causes much more frequent flushing than usual, does it? I suppose it's all that exercise, isn't it? What's next?
In the Hull Daily Mail. Well, in the Hull Daily Mail, they say it's going to generate around £1 million for traders. So great news for the town and how that will impact on them. Obviously, not obviously, but it's going to Scarborough as well. But they're saying that there's going to be 18 race teams and about 35,000 visitors are expected to flock to the town.
It's a great event, isn't it?
Fantastic. More homes are to be built on East Marsh's Guildford Street.
This is in Grimsby.
Yep. So it's quite notorious, this street. It has been about the number of derelict properties and issues that have been around that area. But a total of 70 new homes are to be built to complete the transformation. So it's good news there.
Well, that links in with the story we've just had about the rucksack project that we've covered quite heavily this week. If there are people who don't have homes and there are homes that are derelict, then there seems to be some sort of rebalancing of the equation that's necessary there. And it's happening.
Yeah.
Good news.
Yep, good news with those homes to be built. Police are warning drivers to be careful this Christmas about drinking.
What a surprise.
And about drinking, but in all seriousness, and then driving the next morning and not being aware. They say that people are often not aware of the impact and how much it's still in their system the next morning.
The fact is that if you go out drinking in the evening and you wake up the next morning feeling fine, that just means you're still drunk.
Maybe.
Not that you're hungover.
Is that what it is?
Yes, Erica. Does that explain a lot of happy mornings?
Oh, not that
bad. But yes, that's a very good point. You still got alcohol in your system after 6 hours sleep.
So it's to be mindful.
Very quickly, one more.
Quickly then. So Tommy Coyle, who fought Luke Campbell in the Rumble on the Humber, he is teaming up with 1884 Dock Street Kitchen. That is a restaurant in Hull to provide 70 homeless people with an afternoon of food and entertainment.
Excellent.
Which is a lovely story.
Because you want your food to come from a boxer, don't you? Erica, thank you very much for those stories.
You.
Right now, it's time for the weekly business news for the region of East Yorkshire and Northern Lincolnshire.
Hello, welcome to the business news for East Yorkshire and Lincolnshire. We start with the announcement from Seafish of the appointment of Marcus Coleman as its new chief executive. Marcus joins the company from Company Point Business Services, and before that he was assistant chief executive with Lincolnshire County Council. He'll take up his post in the new year. The Virginia Offshore Wind Coalition have been visiting the region to learn more about renewables. The American delegates visited AIS training in Stallingborough to discover how it's done in the UK. A group from Team Humber Marine Alliance who hosted the event will travel to the US in spring. Mark O'Reilly from Team Humber says the region is leading the way in the training.
We've created an expertise on the Humber already. And that expertise is exportable. We've done trade missions before to Germany and Denmark, and now we've got companies from the Humber who are operating in those countries, and there's an appetite to go to the USA, so that's planned for March next year.
Offshore wind is an emerging opportunity in the United States, and we're over here trying to learn from the folks that have the experience in the UK and throughout Europe and take that experience and intellectual capital back home. And in this particular case, we're not aware of any type of training facility that exists in the United States that something like this could really be a tremendous benefit for that emerging market. Obviously, you've got to be safe before you can go offshore.
Local firm Intervino sponsored Cleetown FC's match at the weekend. The company has expanded since producing the labels for a well-known soft drinks company, and Richard Ascombe MD felt it was time to give something back to the community.
The reason that Intervino has grown so rapidly in the last 12 months was our partnership with the Share a Coke campaign. So anybody at home who has a bottle of Coca-Cola with their name on it, it actually came from a little place just outside of Louth, which is most unusual, but and that's led us really to today, where I've been happy to present personalised jars of Marmite to the players, and that's another campaign that we're currently doing for Unilever. You know, the connection with the town is something that runs deep in my blood. I'm a Meggie at heart, so to be able to come back, you know, from a business perspective and help out, you know, most things need support, most things need money. You know, if we can do that even in a small way, you know, it obviously raises our profile and also helps the player, so it's a win-win.
And that's all from the business news.
Over now to the sports news.
Steve Bruce has reassured Isaac Hayden he can still play a big role in Hull City's season. Hull Daily Mail reports that the manager has praised the young midfielder's application throughout a trying loan spell. Hayden joined on a season-long loan from Arsenal in July, starting just one of the last 7 league fixtures. Elsewhere, Grimsby Town will head to Bromley on Tuesday, January the 19th, after a new date for the National League clash was announced. The match was planned to take place in December, but due to the Mariners' involvement in the FA Cup against Shrewsbury, it was postponed until the new year. Last time Town faced Bromley, they were 4-1 winners. And the Iron will host the first of their brand new fan forums on January the 21st. The event will be held in the Sir Ian Botham Executive Lounge and will get underway at 7 p.m. And Scunthorpe United chairman Peter Swan has said he's looking to continue the transparency, which has been a key part of the club's operations since his arrival 2 years ago. Rugby then, and Fatuli Talaona believes next season could be his biggest yet for the Black and Whites, telling hullfc.com that he hopes to score 20 tries in 2016 following his recovery from knee surgery. The 28-year-old New Zealand-born winger, who made his Hull FC debut in 2014, recently returned from Australia to join up with his teammates in pre-season training. And that's all from the sport.
That's it for tonight. Just to clarify, I'm sure Tommy Coyle is an excellent cook. If you have a news story, then please visit our Facebook or Twitter pages, email news@estuary.tv or phone Grimsby 01472 31553. Until tomorrow, good evening.
Estuary TV weather, sponsored by Rix Petroleum, your local family-owned heating oil supplier this winter.
Hello and welcome to Estuary TV's weather. Friday we'll have sunny spells and a few blustery showers, perhaps heavy at times, continuing to fall as snow over the hills. Strong gusty winds will make it feel cold, and a maximum temperature of 5 degrees. Saturday there's a risk of heavy rain and some more hill snow developing.
Rix, servicing the region's oil boilers this winter from a name you can trust. Get in touch at rix.co.uk or call us on 01482 838383.